Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bosses in Action. Let me get my mic ready to go so I could sound sexier for you. Blair, how are you today?
Not as good as that sounded.
Listen, I knocked it over when I was trying to fix my camera, so I had to bring it close. I had to bring it close. For those of you joining us, thank you again. Appreciate you. We've been running this for now, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years. Bosses in Action, where we focus in on agents, teams, brokers that are using Follow Up Boss at a high level, or people that we can all learn from. Today, Blair Ballin out of Phoenix, Arizona. He has a great Facebook group of, dude, are you at 28,000? We're 29,000. Where are you at?
Very close to 29,000.
Wow. And I think you were very close to 28,000 a week ago, which is crazy.
We're
Maybe a
definitely
week.
growing. Yep.
What's causing the growth so that it's just coming in faster than before, man? What's happening?
I'd say this past year has been a lot of it was due to Facebook allowing advertising to the group.
Mhm.
But then also just the reach that we're now getting, that more people see it, Facebook pushing it to other people, all that kind of stuff.
Got it. All right. I like that. And you also are in real estate, been in real estate for a long time, used to do REOs, now no, but this amazing thing, man. I think a lot of people are attracted to understanding how to build a group, how to build communities, whether they're like you have a Facebook group, a newsletter, social media in general. I think the key to thriving in the new world is deepening these relationships and attracting business. And so you I think are setting the tone for how future business is going to look for real estate agents. So that's why I wanted to talk to you. So thank you. Let's see. Everybody is coming in from Facebook. There's your hats. Thank you. My wife didn't bring the hat, so I don't know where it is. I think I left it in the other room, Blair. This is why you like her more than you like me.
That's true.
Uh, so for everyone joining it, thank you so much. Blair, let's get right into it. If I'm going to build a community on Facebook right now, how would I start?
I think it comes down to when I started mine, like really figuring out what you're passionate about, what's important to you, what you want to grow with. So, I this was not the first group I started. I had a different one that was just total garbage. And even though I liked it, I realized it really couldn't take me where I wanted to go, even if I didn't know where I wanted to go. So just coming up with different ideas and maybe you run with it, maybe you get 1,000 people and then you realize you don't like it, or whatever. You have to find that thing that really resonates with you, whether it's a local community group on an area or, based on pickleball. Well, whatever that activity or whatever is, for me, the community was what drove me and super passionate about it.
Okay, so if I'm building this out on Facebook and it's for my community, let's say it's for my community that I live in or that I market to. And let's say I started off as a private Facebook group and I have some questions. Hey, what's your email address? Do you live in the community? And do you love it here? Or something along those lines. What are you looking on as things that you can add to this community that you're building? They're a value add for you to be able to be in different places with this community you're building. Is it just the newsletter? Is it Instagram, TikTok? What else are you adding to make this go deeper?
I mean, I think there's probably a couple different parts there. When someone's starting a group, I don't know if I would totally be thinking about the other avenues just yet, because as busy people as we all are and so much change happening in the industry, that I think just getting the group going, but knowing that there could be a foundation for the other stuff is important, whether it's newsletter, website, whatever. I think as far as value add to the group, it's finding what they're looking for or what they need to then deliver on that. So as an example, in my group, people absolutely love sharing their opinions about restaurants, giving referrals for different types of contractors, yard people, whatever it is. And then I know I just said not necessarily worrying about business websites or newsletters, but like let's say you find a post that's about the best Mexican restaurants. In my group, I might get 150 responses, taking the top five restaurants, making that a blog post, meeting with the top five Mexican restaurant business owners to then give them exposure through blog post. If you are just doing the group to do the group, but love TikTok or love Instagram and want to share reels there, then go for that and just use this as the base. There's so many different options with it.
Dude, you know what I've noticed? Thank you for that. Yes, I agree with you. And you know what I've noticed in your group and in community-based groups is that the questions all revolve around challenges that we have while living where we're living. So, for instance, I'm at my house, I'm here like 10 years, and I'm like, oh crap, this broke. Does anybody have a plumber? Does anybody have an AC, right? Person? Or it's about the community. Hey, I'm looking for the best restaurant to eat at that's Mexican, like you said, right? Best Mexican restaurant. So I think if we know that these are some of the top questions that people are going to ask, I think we need to prepare ahead of time and say, hey, these are going to be our answers, and these are going to be our partners that we're working with to be able to provide that value. How are you consistently providing that value to your group?
I would say it is with those questions, so favorite type of restaurant. I don't necessarily get into like your favorite landscaper or whatever. It would be just more of a question. Um, I have this drip system that's broken. Who do you recommend? That might be the way around it. So it's not like uh who's the best one out there. But outside of other stuff, it sometimes really also, and I think for those that are starting groups, if you already have groups, it might be a little bit different, and the size of your group can change this response too. But if you don't have a group, it's also a little bit tougher because then you might want to say, how do you get the engagement for that if there's only 100 people in it? And honestly, there can be 100 people in a Facebook group, and you can have massively deep, good conversations with those people that could be even better than with a group with 30,000 people. So
Mm,
the amount or size of a group doesn't necessarily matter for engagement. It's really what you're doing to engage those people. So it's just like with realtors, lenders, title companies, or any business, it's just testing. You can hop on Google and say, what are the best questions to ask a Facebook group? And you can find probably some good ones.
yeah.
Ask like maybe what are the best day trips to go on in your state, or what are the best parks to go to, or whatever. It's just a matter of continuing to test and test and test, and then trying to run deeper on those questions each, however often, every 3 days, week, month, whatever.
Hmm. You know what I've noticed now that you said that is that
And I'm a
those
smart guy.
dude, your IQ is like 170. I already know that. Don't worry. Besides identifying in the group and probably on social, what's garnering the most comments, likes? Uh, what I've noticed is that you can take the engagement and apply it to real world items. So, for instance, if I'm going to get a postcard and I'm going to write up on the postcard, handyman on some great service providers on a postcard and give it out and scan this QR code. That means I'm going to have the biggest response on the things that are working inside of your group. And I think we forget that there's a connection there. So that's what I
There
was thinking as you were saying that. I'm like, dude, restaurants, boom, postcard to my community.
there
Service
is, and
providers, there it is.
Totally.
Go ahead.
And I'll add a couple of things. Sometimes, usually I would say that's very accurate. Sometimes the overall idea, in my opinion, will work across all channels everywhere. However, it's how we deliver it might not work the same on Instagram. So to just say, whatever, it might be different on different channels on how you deliver it, but the content should still work well. With that being said, there's there's plenty of groups where this could work. And whether you, again, have a group, starting a group, whatever, it's going to be different for you. I chose in my group to, from day one, not to allow certain things, one of those being political discussions or political anything. So I could choose to have a politically based question and then get massive engagement on it, but the group would go to crap really, really quickly. And that's not what I wanted.
Mhm.
So you also, I think, have to make that separation. What do you want in your group? And then where do you want to go with it from there?
All right. That makes a lot of sense, man. I like that. And that means we've got to decide what our boundaries are when we have a group, right? What
Totally.
aren't we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about?
Yeah, and just like in real estate, if you guys are realtors listening or watching, is your ideal client. So what is the ideal group member for your Facebook group? What is the ideal discussion? What is the ideal culture? I wanted to create a culture that is drama-free, or as drama-free as possible, and then
Hmm.
stays away from certain things because I know of other community groups where there are people constantly complaining about something. And when they join other groups, you see them talking about that group being so dramatic. And I get, it's not like I get this every day, but there is constant feedback in my group as to how well run it is, how
Hmm.
drama free it is, how supportive it is, and how awesome it is to be a part of it.
That's because you don't put up with drama, Blair. There's a part of that, a part of that has to do with you too, how you operate.
Yeah, it is. I mean, one of the best examples I can give, and I hate giving this example because I think it's pathetic, but it happens, is I had a guy that is now a very good friend of mine that started a brewery here locally, and he's
Mhm.
African American, and he got an award for having the first African American owned brewery in the state. So 2 years ago, he shared that post where whatever publication shared his award that he was the first African American owned brewery in the state of
Mhm.
Arizona. If I said Phoenix, I meant Arizona. And there was some jackass that chimed in basically saying, well, it doesn't matter if you're African American or not, you have a brewery, big deal. And then it turned into this whole racist thread. And this guy's name is Tyler. He got upset,
Whoa.
which I completely understand why, and he left the group. I wasn't aware of that going on. So then it got brought to my attention. And then I reached out to Tyler, and I had spoken with him before, and I expressed my apologies. I was like, I understand if you don't want to come back, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I've already removed that guy. I've deleted all the comments. I'm really sorry. I'd like to hold a business happy hour or a happy hour at your brewery, whatever. But I'd love to have you back in the group if you give us another chance. And he did, and we'd become really good friends. So I can't always control the replies quickly. I can
Mhm.
control the posts because I have post approval turned on, but anytime something happens, I do my best to remove it right away.
Okay. That makes sense, man. Yeah, because sometimes as you're growing and getting bigger, you're going to lose the ability to be able to catch those fast. Now,
Totally.
let's talk about content going a little deeper. This, where in North Phoenix do you live? You've got 267 comments. That's a lot. You pepper in certain things in between asking questions about handyman or places to eat, utility services, all these great stuff. What are the things that are similar to this that you find attract more engagement and encourage people to comment?
Yeah, and I'll add to this one specifically. There this could fall, and it's funny because it's social. There's sometimes people who'll be like, you think, Blair, you think you're this social media influencer, so this question is stupid. Like, what does it really serve the purpose of? There's no purpose other than just to get people to respond. Like
Yeah.
if they say they live in Alaska, I don't really care. I'm not deleting the comment. It was just to see what people say. Now, sometimes I've taken a post like this to put on a map, where do my group members that respond live, to maybe focus more content on that. But this was to just get people to respond. Like it doesn't matter what they said. And some of the responses are funny, like what Casey said. My cross streets are North and Phoenix. Obviously, there is not a cross street called North and Phoenix. It's a joke. It's funny. Whatever. Um, but outside of that, I try occasionally to post like memes that are specific to the area that will get, I think, engagement. Um, you'll see on the far right there, like recent media, I just created a ebook about lakes. So I made that post. If they want the book, they fill out a form, whatever, and then I get it to them. But whatever I can do about the area to come up with to try to get it to them.
Hmm. I like that, man. Now, you also built out a website and you have this amazing event coming up that has now become part of this community's culture. It's your first time, which is awesome, but tell me about the website and how do you use it? If I would go to it, is it livingnorthphoenix.com?
It is, yeah. So basically, it was created to help me know that if something ever happens to my Facebook group, even though this is online, I have the ability to still funnel people to other spots. So I'm trying to create this, imagine a circle, the funnel of Facebook group, newsletter, and website. So if I found you on
Mhm.
the Facebook group, awesome. I want to get you to my newsletter. So if anything happens to the Facebook group, I have your email address. We can stay in touch. I can start another group or whatever, and then
Okay.
bringing them to the website to give them more content, which might very well be the same that they've seen in the group. But the reality is, maybe I posted something at 8 a.m. and they're working and they don't log in till 10 p.m. and maybe it just doesn't show up in their feed, but they go to the website and they're able to see it on the website. So the idea that, you're cross posting stuff and then you're worried about a viewer seeing it the same over and over. Like I get it, but I don't really think it matters. But this is also the goal here, is to create this to be my new brand. So this is my real estate brand also. So then I can capture SEO for it. I can help promote other businesses, restaurants, and then get SEO for that. So this is more of the SEO driver to get people to the website and then to the Facebook group and other stuff.
Got it. Got it. So explain to me how you've decided to work with local businesses and incorporate that into your website and the group.
So for this specifically, uh, out of the Facebook group, one of the other channels is a Living North Phoenix networking group, which
Hmm.
is basically like a BNI for North Phoenix. So if you're a member of that networking group and you're a speaker, then I take notes and then I create a blog for it. And then I put it on the website and then I share it in the Facebook group, LinkedIn, blah, 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 all that stuff. So basically the North Phoenix or Living North Phoenix networking group is where that stuff comes from. But all of
Okay.
that stemmed from the Facebook group by asking a question, who wants to be part of our networking group? And then just
Hmm.
going from there.
All right. So if we're going in deeper into this networking group, how do you celebrate the local businesses in your community so that they engage more and and are proud to belong to this community page or group?
Yeah, so if someone joins the networking group and it is industry exclusive, meaning only one realtor, one lender, blah, 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 is giving them the opportunity to share more about their business and themselves in the Facebook group. So in my Facebook group, I don't allow business posts other than on Thursday. I've created since week one of my group a Thursday business thread where I will create a post saying, I'm the group's realtor and founder. What do you do? And then everyone
Okay.
can respond in there. Because my experience was, as I went through other groups, I tend to see replies or posts every day over and over and over. I'm a landscaper. I do this. I'm a realtor, and it's annoying as shit. I don't want to see that because not most people don't care. So one thread, uh, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and that's it. If you respond at noon, yes, your reply probably gets buried. I don't care. So if you're part of the networking group, you get more preferential treatment to be able to know that you can now share other stuff that I will approve. Because if I see a post that says, I'm a lender and here are rates from some random person, I don't approve of it. So you're on a real estate post. I tend to stay away from real estate selfish posts, meaning I'm not going to post a listing and just say buy with me, sell with me, or here's my 6% commission, because we all know we only are allowed to charge 6% commissions. That's a joke, by the way. That's no standard. Thanks, CNN, whatever. But I will share data, whether it's, from Resi Club, Altos, saying, here's the data for the area. And then you'll see in the post, like I don't even
That
say,
was,
call
dude,
me
that
with
was
questions.
good comments, man. That was really
Yeah.
good. Great job on this one.
Thanks. Yeah, and that one, some of the comments are mine, some aren't. There's other comments, and I'll tend to get very defensive on it, which I know I shouldn't, but I do. But yeah, just giving those that support me as much stuff for them so they can get exposure throughout the group, social, everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that somebody said interest rates aren't the major problem. Dude, there's some good comments on here.
Yes.
I'm going to stop sharing. It's also good to do that to check the temperature of what people feel about real estate locally.
Yeah, speaking of that, so hopefully real quickly, but like a week ago or whenever the whole NAR thing happened,
Mhm.
I went in there with a question, which again, this is not a real estate based group, it's just community. I didn't think we'd get that many responses, but I basically asked something to the effect of, what are your thoughts or questions on the latest National Association of Realtors settlement? And it was great to get the responses because it also gave me a whole bunch of notes for the concerns that people have with the real estate industry,
Mm.
to create content around that for real estate, not even the Facebook group, just for real estate. So, whether it's we charge too much or whatever it is, giving me those ideas for that. And
True.
also gave me someone to speak with that was like, well, this realtor's charging me 6% and it's too much, or 60 grand and it's too much. And then we had like a 30-minute conversation later that day. And whether she uses me or not, it was awesome, because I just got a chance to speak with someone. And the ultimate goal of this Facebook group when I started it, to connect the community. So if I'm not able to assist someone on the real estate side, it doesn't matter as long as I can help people on some level or they can be helped on some level.
Dude, I like that. I was thinking along those lines when I saw that post about interest rates. If you want to really understand, you have the ability to do this, which is great. Understand your local consumer, and you would ask, what's the most important? Why would you use a real estate agent and why wouldn't you? Right? I think that would gauge, because then we could use that to market, right? What's important to people. This is
Mhm.
why I love your group so much, because it's a microcosm of what's going on everywhere, but it doesn't matter what's going on everywhere. It only matters what's going on here.
Totally.
That's
And
how it
along
works.
those lines, yeah, you guys can set it up however you want or have your groups however you want. I've chosen to not have realtors in my group. There are realtors in there, but um, I will do my best to remove realtors when I can, because I don't want them in there. And the reason being, I'm not concerned about them taking business away from me. That has nothing to do with it. Is realtors bring down engagement in other groups unless it's a real estate based group. So if I were to look at the realtors in my group, their engagement is the lowest out of anyone that's in the group. So that's why I
Hmm.
don't have them in there. But a good way to weed out realtors, if you guys already have existing groups, in my opinion, if you wanted to go this route, is basically have a friend of yours ask, who's your favorite realtor?
Right. You told me that last time.
Yeah.
That's a really good sneaky way of doing it. By the way, I used that tactic to bring out all of the fake people and fake accounts that were pushing that those lead gen companies that ended up being the same four. That's exactly what I used. I was like, oh, you're out of here.
Yep.
Great, great, great idea. See, dude, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, IQ 180, 170. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
Depends on the day.
180. Blair, this is awesome. All right, so what are you doing next, man? What's next for you that you're excited about when it comes to groups?
So specific to groups, that's a good question. My in-person event is happening next month. Super excited about that. It's called Valley Palooza. And the objective there is basically just bring everyone. It's not just for the group, but it's intended to be for the area, which again is my goal here, is to connect the community. The Facebook group is just a channel for that, is just to bring everyone together. But we have some really big things in store for the group once the event is over that I plan to put in place, like a golf tournament, a book club, a yoga club, working with different charities, a whole bunch of stuff to just make the community a better place.
I like that. Here's the agenda for the 13th, right? Is this it? Does it start at 12? Do I have the right one?
Yeah, that should be it. I added
Perfect.
some stuff last night, but either way, yeah, that's it. Oh, there we
There we
go.
go.
Yep.
I like that. So it goes on from 12 to 5 p.m. And what are your expectations for this just to bring the community closer together and get to know each other?
That and to support local. One of the other biggest pieces of feedback I get is what an awesome job I do. And this is coming from other people. It's not me just saying it because of my big ego, is
Mhm.
the job that I'm trying to do to support local. So whether it's the local restaurant, the local bar, the local candle maker. So we have 40-ish vendors at the event, most of them only local. And there's a maybe a couple bigger ones that are national, global, whatever. But to connect those people, those business owners with the local people, so they get supported, they know that they're loved, and just to drive business and branding to them.
I like that, man. All right. Blair, if somebody has a question for you, where do they reach you so that they can ask you these questions?
So trying to join the group probably won't get you far because I won't accept you,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But you're always free to reach out. If you want to see my screen, whatever, I can share it with you, all that stuff. But find me on Facebook. That's usually where I'm most available at. I don't really do well on Instagram or the other channels. So my personal Facebook, Blair Ballin, and it should be the one with my, because I have a bunch of accounts, the one with my like tie suit, stupid looking photo,
Mhm.
verified one. The other ones are still me. But yeah, Facebook is the best one.
I like it. Thanks, Blair. Appreciate it, man. Great job on what you're doing. I love
Thanks
it.
for
I love
having me.
seeing the success. Thanks, everybody.